Marquez Valdes-Scantling has had an up and down 3 years with the Packers. He's steadily gotten better, but still struggles to catch the ball cleanly and had 7 drops in 2020. However, he's one of the best deep threats in the league. He averaged 20.9 yards per reception and came up big in some of Green Bay's most critical moments during the season. He has elite speed for his size and runs a 4.37 40 at 6'4" and 206 pounds. What's exciting is that while he might not be a complete receiver and has some change of direction issues, he's using really good route running technique and has started to get himself open outside of the scheme. MVS's speed is real. He can easily run by guys if you're playing him close to the line of scrimmage. He might have only averaged 2 receptions per game in 2020, but he made the most of those receptions. If you match up a linebacker on him because of what Matt LaFleur and the Packers do formationally, it's a done deal. Multiple times, the Packers caught defenses in man coverage or Tampa 2 where a linebacker is supposed to cover him. Even if defenders play off, he eats up so much ground with his long strides that he quickly gets up onto the toes of defenders that are 10 yards off the line of scrimmage. That speed then allows him to get into other parts of his route tree. He's not terrific in change of direction routes like digs and slants, but with the vertical threat, he can create space for himself in spite of that. Here, Valdes-Scantling attacks the cover 3 defender vertically and forces them to turn their hips because he's eaten up so much space. Despite not being super quick out of his break, that still creates a ton of separation for him on the dig over the middle. Marquez Valdes-Scantling can be a little inconsistent with his hand usage and routes, but when he nails it, he nails it. He's become very good at working defenders away from his route side space, using his hands to get back inside, and then leaning on them to separate at the top of his route. You don't usually see that physicality from a speed guy, but MVS has the frame to be able to do it. That subtle lean back into the defender can make a world of difference for his ability to create separation. Here against the Lions, where in man coverage, he uses that technique. MVS keeps defenders at arm's length so that there's always space between them when they're both engaged in hand fighting. That means when he pushes off, there's already space there. What refs are looking for in offensive pass interference is that full extension of the arm. If you're never in tight with the defender, you don't have the arm coming from a closed to open position. That also helps MVS because he has such a long frame. Most of the time, he can outreach defenders and keep them at a distance. As Valdes-Scantling breaks for his route, he leans back into the defender for one step. That gives him a more solid surface to push off of, and then he breaks back the other way with a subtle extension to give himself separation on the route. We, and most teams, understand that MVS can run fast in a straight line, so having him develop more routes to add to his tree is pretty big for his development. He used this technique all year and got better and better at it as the season went on. While that's all great and getting open is important, so is catching the ball. Way too many times, MVS lost catches that were slightly contested, or he just flat out dropped the ball with nobody around him. Sometimes these weren't small, inconsequential drops either. Since he's gotten better at getting open, he's had some huge opportunities downfield that he just isn't able to finish on. You can see a little bit of what encapsulates MVS in one play. Speed, some good route running ability, but an inability to finish the play. Valdes-Scantling is able to immediately threaten the corner playing the deep quarter over him and forces them to bail and turn their hips. What MVS does a great job of here is stemming his route to the outside and entering the defender's blind spot. The blind spot is the area that's about 2 to 3 yards from a defensive back that's turned inside in zone coverage. It causes the defender to lose sight of the receiver since their back is turned to them. That allows for MVS to break without the defensive back seeing his stem and his angle. That creates a ton of separation for MVS to the middle of the field. Not only did he turn the defender around, but by stemming outside, he created more space for himself inside. The ball ends up being underthrown and makes the catch a little bit tougher than you'd like, but MVS did all that work, and instead of attacking the ball in the air, he lets it get into his body, which forced the catch to be contested and resulted in an incompletion. When he has clean releases and completes the catch though, he's fun to watch. He understands how to push onto the toes of defenders and give them as little time to react to his cuts as possible. However, when guys are walked up on him, he does have some trouble getting off jams and into his route. He does not like guys getting into his frame, and when they do, it's a problem. He's not going to throw corners around with his strength, and he needs to keep guys at a distance to be able to use his athletic abilities to their fullest potential. While the route tree and releases need to continue to grow along with more consistent catching, MVS is a more than willing blocker, and often the Packers would use him as a point man on blocking for RPOs and even occasionally brought him into the box to help out. There are some definite positive steps that MVS has taken, but it's also year 4 and a contract year. If he just catches all the balls that are within his frame, that's a huge win and would contribute to big momentum-shifting plays in games. He may never be able to route guys up underneath on slants and digs and outs, and he lacks a little bit of suddenness in his breaks, but he can be a very, very effective and impactful player. If he continues to polish and grow his route tree like he did in 2020, even more big plays are coming for MVS.